Hello and a very warm welcome to She the People. In our collaborative series, Invest Her, in partnership with BSE Investors Protection Fund, we talk about personal finance. We try to bring more clarity on important financial concepts and we help women be independent decision makers when it comes to the matters of money. And as always, it is my pleasure to welcome Kiran Telang, a certified financial planner registered as an investment advisor with SEBI. Let me tell you that Kiran works with clients from across India, overseas, and helps them in making smart investment decisions and simplifying their financial lives. Thank you for joining us, Kiran. और आज का
It's a
सब्जेक्ट बहुत
pleasure.
इंटरेस्टिंग है. The subject of our webinar today is investment and how does one invest. I first invite you to share your thoughts on the subject and then we can take some questions as always.
Sure, I'll be happy to do that. This is a little presentation that I've made on investing. So actually, when you talk about investing, there is always a misconception. Is saving and investment the same? People say that I save money, but is saving and investing the same? How does it really differ? And does it even matter? Or is it just, different word? So let me try and put it this way, that you have a mango seed. आप आम खाते हैं, आम की गुठली होती है, तो आप गुठली फेंक देते हैं. अगर उसी गुठली को जमीन में लगाया जाए तो वहां से एक आम का पौधा निकलेगा एंड दैट विल गिव फ्रूट इन अ फ्यू इयर्स टाइम, राइट? सो दैट इज द एसेंशियल डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेविंग एंड इन्वेस्टिंग. कि सेविंग जो है वो ग्रो नहीं होती है. आप पैसा बचा रहे हैं, जो पैसा खर्च नहीं कर रहे हैं, दैट इज योर सेविंग. बट अगर उसी पैसे को आप इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो वो पैसा ग्रो होता है और आपकी जो फ्यूचर रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, वट एवर गोल्स यू हैव इन फ्यूचर, that money will help you solve those issues that come up in future where money is required. So it is very important that you understand that saving happens. All Indians per se are good savers, but not necessarily good investors. A lot of times people have money lying in their savings account, or they simply make fixed deposits because that is very easy. It is automated. But it is not necessarily investing in the right manner. It is not growing. The money might not be really helpful in the future when they need a larger sum of amount. So let's go and see what are the options you have and what do you need to actually check and how do you invest. So there are three critical pillars of investing. Whenever you are presented with a product, you have to ask three questions about safety, liquidity, and growth. These are the three pillars. So when you look at a product, is it safe? So the first red flag is if it is not a regulated product. तो आप किसी को भी जो प्रेजेंट आपको कर रहे हैं प्रोडक्ट, उनसे पूछिए कि हु इज द रेगुलेटर. So we have banking regulators, Reserve Bank of India, all regulations, all products under the securities market जो stocks से related होते हैं and mutual fund से related होते हैं, वो सारे आते हैं SEBI के अंदर. Any pension related products comes under PFRDA and any insurance related products comes under IRDA. So these are the four regulators in India. So any investment product has to fall under the purview of these four regulators. If a product is presented to you which does not fall under the purview of any of these four regulators, you should be very careful because it might be a fraudulent product and you might lose money there. Each product that is presented to you will have some amount of risk. There is nothing risk free. So अगर कोई आपको बोलता है इसमें कोई भी risk नहीं है, that is wrong. There will be some kind of risk. So risks also differ. We had done a series on a session on risk also earlier. So risks are different. So you please ask what is the risk and then try and understand whether that risk is acceptable to you. If it is acceptable, okay, you have done the check on the safety parameter. Then we go on to the liquidity. What does liquidity mean? We again have done the session on liquidity earlier. Will I be able to withdraw the money when I need? So if no, then it doesn't really help me, right? When I need the money, it's not with me. And how much time will it require? So if I give an instruction to withdraw today, how soon can I get my money in hand? Will it be immediately credited to my bank account? Will it take a day? Will it take a week? Will it take a month? How long? So there are different products which different timelines. रियल एस्टेट आप प्रोडक्ट आप बेचना चाहते हैं, कोई प्रॉपर्टी है, लैंड है, तो उसको काफी टाइम लग जाएगा. वीजा वी से अ बैंक फिक्स डिपॉजिट विल कम टू योर बैंक अकाउंट immediately. So that is the difference in liquidity. Then you come to growth. That is the time when you ask what is the expected range of returns that you can expect from that product. So each product category has a return range which has historically been seen. So will that work still, or is it going to change? What should I expect? and understand that expectation does not mean guarantee, right? There are very few products which guarantee returns, and if there are guaranteed returns, there will be very low return. Then you need to check whether that return what is being expected out of that product, does that suit your requirement? If yes, then you should go ahead and invest in that product. Now, what are the products? If we look at the asset classes that are available, so all financial products will essentially fall into these four asset classes. It can either be a debt product, an equity product, real estate, or commodity, right? So each kind of investment product will have any of these four or a combination of all these. So the underlying will be these. आप उसको कोई भी wrapper लगा लो, ऊपर से कोई भी नाम दे दो, but the products will have these kind of things inside the packaging. So, excuse me. If we look at each of these individual categories, let us see what are the investment products available. Under that investment products in debt, you have the simplest products is a bank fixed deposit, which most people understand, a fixed deposit or a recurring deposit. Company FDs are there again, which are very traditional, investment options people have been using for a long time. There are several small saving schemes like the PPF or the National Savings Certificate or the Kisan Vikas Patra. And for senior citizens, there is a product called Senior Citizen Savings Scheme. And for young girls below 10 years of age, there is a Sukanya Samriddhi scheme, which is launched. So all these products fall under the small savings schemes category. And of course, you have debt mutual fund. People have this, misunderstanding that mutual funds is only equity. It is only related to the stock market. No, actually, if you see in this listing which I have done, mutual funds are appearing in all. They are appearing in debt. They are appearing in equity, not in real estate, but in commodities as well. So mutual fund is a route that you use to invest in these underlying products. So each scheme of a mutual fund will have different underlying products. So in a debt mutual fund, there will be debt products which are there, and it is a very convenient way to invest in debt products. The second category that we are looking at is equity. So equity से सब यही समझते हैं कि stock investing है, right? So you can open a demat account, you can open a trading account, and you can buy stock. So that is the straightforward way of investing in equity. The other way where you don't really want to do your own research, or you don't have that kind of lump sum to invest in stocks, you can use the equity mutual fund. So equity mutual fund is buying different kind of stocks. So each equity mutual fund is a different class. So say, for example, there could be a large cap equity fund. So what do you mean by large cap equity fund? That scheme will invest in companies which are number 1 to 100 on the market cap parameter. So it is a very defined parameter. So large cap will be 1 to 100, mid cap will be 101 to 150 to 250, and below 250 will be small cap company. So it's a very clear cut segregation, categorization of schemes. You have portfolio management services also, which are basically a kind of, stocks are bought directly into a scheme for you, and it is under direct stock purchase. So that is another way of investing in equity. Real estate is a big ticket item. You need big amount of money to invest. So loans are available, but yes, you need to put a down payment to purchase any kind of property, be it a residential unit, or if you're buying land, or if you're buying a commercial property. So depending on your need, depending on the availability of your money, you can choose real estate as an investment as well. Commodities, there are many, but for all practical purposes, for most people, commodity investment will mean investing in gold or silver. So again, within gold and silver also, there are so many ways in which you can invest. Traditionally, we have this cultural thing where at different festivals, we buy gold, like Dhanteras, or in Maharashtra, there is Akshaya Tritiya, So these are festivals where traditionally gold jewelry or coins have been bought. So that has been the ancient way of doing things. In the modern ways, we have gold ETFs, we have mutual funds in which invest in gold ETFs, and you have sovereign gold bond, which is a government product, and it is an 8-year product. So these are different ways in which you can invest in gold. Silver, again, jewelry, coins, ETFs, and mutual funds. So all these manner of investment is available to you in commodity. So if you see, most of these things will be able to, help you create a portfolio. But when you're creating a portfolio for yourself, do keep in mind that you have to put, different amounts in different baskets. So do asset allocation. So asset allocation बहुत ही complex word लगता है, but इसका मतलब यही है कि don't put all your eggs in the same basket. So we saw different kind of products in different asset classes. So divide your investments into different baskets. And how do you do that? किसमें कितना डालना है? How do you decide that? So you will have to look at your goals. So depending on your goals, शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स जो हैं उसको आप डेट प्रोडक्ट में डालिए. लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स हैं जैसे बच्चों की पढ़ाई के लिए करना है या रिटायरमेंट के लिए करना है प्लानिंग, then you use long-term asset classes which are beneficial like equity. If you have larger pool of money, maybe real estate also can be considered as a long-term investment. And first plan and then execute. Just don't go and buy because your friend or neighbor or your colleague is buying, or there is something which is you're seeing a lot of advertisements for that kind of product. So first plan that whether that product is going to suit your requirement or no, and how you're going to use that product to benefit yourself, and then go and execute. So don't jump into execution first and then think whether you're right or wrong. And another important aspect which most people miss is that consistency is the only thing that will help you create wealth. So be consistent. And we are lazy people. I mean, we don't really go and do our gym regularly, or we don't eat healthy regularly. So that consistency is missing. That's why we suffer. And to ensure that you're consistent in your investing, automate your investing. So if you have created a plan, there are certain things which can be met by certain kind of investment. You can do SIP in mutual funds, which is one way of automating your investment. So you can choose whatever product is suitable to you. It could be equity mutual fund, it could be debt mutual fund, it could be gold. So that is one way of automating your investments, and you're going to be consistent in that manner. So if you keep these few things in mind, I think you will be able to create a great portfolio for yourself and eventually meet the goals that you have kept for yourself. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful, Kiran. As always, eloquent, and your pointers have been like so helpful in demystifying everything that one needs to know about investing. Let's just start now. Go towards some specific questions. I always tell this, at forums or when we are talking to women, that it is so important for women specifically to invest in their money, and not just think about saving money, and also how it needs to start so early in our lives, because uh, it's only women who know that there may be planned career breaks in life, right? How should then the process of investing be different for women? And I always, one of the things I always believe in, it has to start early. But what are your thoughts on how is it different for women than men?
See, Mugdha, what you said was right. The main issue that comes with women is that the breaks, which could be planned or unplanned. So that happens. So that is a period when you're actually stopping your investments, so that consistency and that longevity of your investments gets a break. And that's how the compounding of money also gets affected. So one thing simply, of course, is start as early as possible. Second, I would say that once you've created that emergency fund for yourself, you've kept some money aside for any problematic periods, start investing in equity. So over maybe 5 6 7 years period, you should be able to garner some decent amount of money. So even if there is a sabbatical, or if there is an unplanned break that is required, there would be that small kitty of money that you have for yourself, and you can utilize it during that break period also. Also, another thing that I've noticed for a lot of women, I mean, especially women who would be probably middle aged or really senior, a lot of them have taken a back step in their career so that their spouse could move ahead in the career. So most of these women I have seen are also very traditional in their investments. So most of the times their investments just lie in the savings account, or they go into traditional investments like gold or fixed deposits. So that again is creating a barrier in that wealth generation that could happen with whatever amount of salary that they're getting. So I think that mindset also needs to change, and they need to look beyond the traditional investment products that are available.
Kiran, a very important thing you said, mindset needs to change. Or mindset kitne levels pe change hona hai. I remember talking to a lot of friends, and guilty as charged. It has happened in my household also, where initial years we would just say कि अच्छा चलो एक partner की income आप save करो और एक partner की income आप spend करो, right? और उसमें हमेशा ये होता है that the financial planning and all the important decisions automatically go to the male member, and the woman is left to just handle the money, because आपकी budgeting अच्छी है, आपको घर चलाने के लिए वो liquidity चाहिए, तो उनके हाथ में कभी वो पावर नहीं दी जाती कि आप इन्वेस्टमेंट भी आप कर सकते हो. आई थिंक दैट इज सच अ ह्यूज माइंडसेट दैट नीड्स टू चेंज, राइट?
Absolutely. So, इसमें भी आप जो बोल रहे हैं, it's a very lopsided kind of wealth creation, you know. So only one partner gets to create wealth. The other partner is left with nothing. So, I mean, God forbid if things go wrong in such scenarios. I mean, you are left with nothing. So it's a very difficult situation. To even think about it is not good, but it does
Yeah.
happen to a lot of people. So, yeah, I mean, people
Yeah. So,
just need to remember that.
you briefly mentioned upon it, and I would want you to elaborate on this कि जब हम short term, mid term और long term goals की बात करते हैं, तो हम किस तरीके की investments को इन तीनों baskets में डाल सकते हैं, depending upon, जैसे आपने कहा, if you are planning, for children's education, which is still a little while away, so you can invest in products that are longish period. तो वैसे ही ये तीन चीजों को हम ध्यान में रख के कौन कौन से ऑप्शंस से मैच कर सकते हैं?
ओके, सो सिंपल चीज ये ध्यान में रखनी है कि जो भी आपके शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स हैं, से व्हाट एवर इज बिलो 3 इयर्स, उसमें तो आप प्योर डेट में ही जाए. मतलब डोंट टेक एनी एक्सपोजर टू द स्टॉक मार्केट, बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी शॉर्ट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. एंड अगर आपके गोल्स ऐसे हैं कि उनको पोस्टपोन नहीं किया जा सके, मतलब दे आर सैक्रोसैंक्ट कि बच्चे का एडमिशन कराना है या इस तरह की कोई चीज है, look for simple products. If you are, if the taxation is beneficial to you, look for FDs. That also works for below 3 years. You could look for debt mutual funds. That is again very liquid. You could, even if you're not having a lump sum, if you're doing on a monthly basis, you can also look at a recurring deposit. So these kind of products are suitable for a below 3 year kind of a period. For the longer term, I'll come to the midterm later. I'll tell you why. For the longer term, I would suggest equity would be a good place to be, because see, equity kya hai? Eventually, what you're doing is you're buying a part of a business, and business mein ups and downs hote hain, right? So there are cycles in business. So there will be periods where the business will not do well. So you will probably not see any returns. The stock market will give you negative returns also at times. But if you stay invested for a very long period of time, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, when you talk about children's education for a newborn kid, or a 3 to 4 year old child, or even if you're talking about your own retirement, those are 10-year plus kind of goals typically. So that is a very good time to ride the cycle. So even if there is a negative portion in the investment period, you should be doing well in the long period of time. So that thing, you look at equity investments, either buy stocks or buy mutual funds. So 95% of the people will be good with mutual funds. I mean, even if you do simple mutual funds indexing, that should be fine with you. Now, when you come to the midterm goals, you can look at a hybrid product. Something that has a little bit of equity, but major part is debt. So that if you're lucky, you will get some kicker from the equity portion, but your chunk of investment will remain safe because of the debt. So there are hybrid products which are available, which you can look for maybe, the 5 year kind of goal. So this is how you should allocate your goals and your investment.
How important is goal setting? And we have done a full, I know, a full webinar on this, but I can't stress on the importance of goal setting, which is so required for women, especially to start young.
Right. So yeah, we've done a whole session. Now let me just give you an analogy here. आप Uber book करते हैं या Ola book करते हैं, you have to give your destination first, right? You cannot board the vehicle without booking your destination. So that is the importance of goal setting, कि आपको जब पता ही नहीं है कहाँ जाना है, तो आप किस vehicle में जाएंगे और क्या बोलेंगे, right? So your investment vehicles are available, but आपको अपनी destination choose करनी है, and you also need to have a navigation which is live, because life changes. अगर बहुत लंबा पीरियड है, 10 साल की आप बात करते हैं, life changes, your lifestyle will change, your family requirements will change. So you need to navigate that path with, as long as your goal is in sight, you will navigate and you will make changes that are required. So goal setting absolutely is important. Without having proper goals in place, it's very difficult to achieve them.
And I think women can do it so beautifully because they know that they will be the ones who are following the trajectory, which is you do want to start a family sometime, you do want to take a break, you do want to concentrate on the family, you do want to be a supportive financial partner. So then I think one when you start young, और उस टाइम पे ये है कि आपका थोड़ा डिपेंडेंस अपने पेरेंट्स पे भी होता है, यू नो, इफ यू आर लिविंग विद पेरेंट्स। आई ऑलवेज टेल यंग गर्ल्स कि भाई आप जैसे आपकी नौकरी लगी, एक थोड़ा पोर्शन जो है वो आप लॉन्ग टर्म इक्विटी में डाल दो, यू नो, इट माइट बी समथिंग दैट यू विल थैंक योरसेल्फ लेटर इन लाइफ, यू नो, 10-15
हाँ,
साल बाद, that way.
राइट।
Acha, Kiran, tell me something. What are some of the things that people should keep in mind, women should keep in mind before investing? You know, I will tell you one of my problems that I once did, which was कि मैंने पैसा डाल दिया और मैंने ये नहीं देखा कि अगर मैं उसे जल्दी निकाल रही हूँ तो मुझे कितना उसमें लॉस होगा, you know. So that was one of the things I think I didn't read the, and you know, I did burn my hands. But what are some of the other things that people should remember before investing?
राइट। सो देखिए, ये तो कॉमन चीजें हैं जो आप कह रही हैं कि यू डिडंट रीड द फाइन प्रिंट एंड यू डिडंट नो व्हाट द पेनल्टीज विल बी फॉर अर्ली विड्रॉल। So
Yes.
these things happen. So if you just go and buy the product without, understanding the fitment to your own requirements, that is something that you need to keep in mind. दूसरी चीज, मतलब especially in case of women, मैं ये notice करती हूँ कि छोटी चीजें हैं, I mean these are operational issues, but issues create होते हैं। I mean women change their name after marriage, तो documents में सब जगह अलग अलग
Yeah.
नाम है, अलग addresses है। So those operational tasks also need to be taken care of. इसमें बहुत ज्यादा problem होती है in case of married women. So you decide what you want to do and stick with it, because you go halfway and then you decide, okay, I now want to change my name or I want to revert to my earlier name. It creates a lot of confusion. So be clear in your mind what you want to do and stick to it. I mean, either ways it's okay if you want to or if you don't want to change the name. इन्वेस्टमेंट सिलेक्शन की जहां बात आती है, एज आई सेड, लुक एट द सेफ्टी, लिक्विडिटी, ग्रोथ पैरामीटर्स। ये तीन चीजें चेक किए बिना आप मत इन्वेस्ट कीजिए। देयर विल बी लॉट ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स दैट विल बी ब्रॉट टू यू कि ये हाई रिटर्न प्रोडक्ट्स हैं एंड द रिस्क इज वेरी लो। तो स्टार्ट विथ द रेगुलेटरी थिंग कि रेगुलेटर के अंडर है या नहीं। तो बहुत सारी चीजें अवेलेबल हैं ऐसी विच आर नॉट रेगुलेटेड, विच if you get lucky you might make money, but there is a chance of a high loss in that as well, so you don't want to get wiped off, whatever you're earning. And 10% of your income can be very easily saved. You imagine that अगर आपकी तनख्वाह 100 रुपए है, तो आप ऐसा इमेजिन कीजिए कि आपकी तनख्वाह 90 रुपए है, तो वो 10 रुपए तो आप वैसे ही आपके हाथ में है ही नहीं, so that directly goes to saving. And when this is going to saving and investing, it can create wonders. Even if a 10-year period is taken and you get some decent 8 to 10% of returns also, there will be a substantial amount, accumulated at the end of that period. So I think that that should be the way to look at it. Minimum 10%, maximum आप जितना कर सकते.
Got it. All right. So now time for some more questions that are coming from our viewers. मेरी तो list बहुत लंबी है, लेकिन उनकी list और भी ज़्यादा लंबी है. So let's start. Bhavna Bisht is asking for someone who is new to investments. What are a few tips you can share concerning the pace of investing, and how can I maintain a balance?
Right, Bhavna, this is a very real problem that people face. कि requirements इतनी ज़्यादा हैं, your demands on your money is so much and you don't really know how to manage that. So as I said, the simplest way is कि आप वो 10 रुपए हटा दीजिए। मतलब 10% of your income is not your income. Imagine कि आपकी salary कम है and you live within that, and that 10% then you automate. Like mutual fund SIPs are a good way to automate कि आपने जो भी है, आपका 1 लाख की सैलरी है, उसमें से 10,000 अगर आप म्यूचुअल फंड सिप में डाल रहे हैं, दैट गेट्स ऑटोमेटेड, तो ऑटोमेटिकली फर्स्ट या फिफ्थ ऑफ द मंथ को निकल जाएगा आपके अकाउंट से, एंड द बैलेंस देन यू यूटिलाइज फॉर योर रिक्वायरमेंट। एंड अगर महीने के अंत में कुछ पैसा बच जाता है, देन यू कैन डू इन्वेस्टिंग एड हॉक बेसिस ऑल्सो। So we do this for a lot of professionals, where the income might vary over, different periods of time. Freelancers होते हैं या professionals like doctors. तो उनकी इनकम जो है फ्लक्चुएट होती रहती है, सो दे कांट कमिट अ सर्टेन अमाउंट, स्पेशली एट द इनिशियल पार्ट ऑफ देयर करियर। सो इन दैट केस वी इंश्योर कि जितना आप पक्की बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं उसको आप म्यूचुअल फंड सिप में डाल दीजिए, बाकी जो एडहॉक बेसिस पे अवेलेबल होता है उसको इन्वेस्ट करते रहिए। सो दैट इज हाउ यू विल बी एबल टू मेंटेन अ बैलेंस. Also an emergency fund kind of a structure will help you, so something in addition to what is bare minimum your emergency fund, उससे थोड़ा ज्यादा रखिए। तो इन केस बीच में ऐसे कुछ खर्चे आ जाते हैं तो जो आपने एंटिसिपेट नहीं किए हैं, you can utilize that extra money that you have parked there and not touch your long-term investment. That could be another way to keep a balance.
Great. Can we have the second question, which is, are fixed deposits still relevant today? Also, what is the optimum amount of money one should invest every month? That Niharika is asking that, and Kiran ने अभी बताया 10% तो रख ही दें, but yeah, Thoughts, Kiran?
So निहारिका, फिक्स डिपॉजिट आर रेलेवेंट, बट इसमें आपकी सिचुएशन पे डिपेंड करता है. सो सी, फिक्स डिपॉजिट में क्या होता है, जो इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है आपको, दैट इज टैक्सेबल, राइट. तो आपका जो टैक्स स्लैब है, अगर आप 20% में है या 30% में है, डिपेंडिंग ऑन दैट, उस इंटरेस्ट पे उतना टैक्स लग जाता है. तो इफेक्टिवली आपका जो रिटर्न है, समझिए आपकी 6% की फिक्स डिपॉजिट है, तो आप उसको 30%, अगर आप टैक्स ब्रैकेट है आपका, तो 6% माइनस 30% ऑफ दैट 6%, तो दैट इज योर एक्चुअल रिटर्न. तो अगर इस तरह से आप देखें, अगर आप हायर टैक्स ब्रैकेट में हैं, तो आपकी जो रिटर्न है वो काफी कम है. और आप इसको इन्फ्लेशन से कंपेयर कीजिए. अगर इन्फ्लेशन 6% है और आपकी रियल रिटर्न यानी आफ्टर टैक्स जो रिटर्न आती है वो 4% है, तो यू आर एक्चुअली नेगेटिव, राइट. सो इन दैट केस फिक्स डिपॉजिट माइट नॉट बी सूटेबल. बट फॉर समबडी हु इज इन द लोअर टैक्स ब्रैकेट, या जिनका टैक्सेबल इनकम नहीं है, इनकम कम है उनकी, उनके लिए तो जो भी 6% मिल रहा है पूरा उनके हाथ में आता है. देयर इज नो टैक्सेशन ऑन दैट, राइट. सो इन दैट केस इट विल मेक सेंस फॉर देम. So depending on your circumstance, fixed deposit is relevant or not relevant. एंड ऑप्टिमम की तो हमने बात की कि 10% तो आप मिनिमम सेव कर ही लीजिए. उसके अलावा आप जितना कर सके, सी अर्लियर पार्ट ऑफ योर करियर you have lesser responsibilities, you have lesser liabilities on you, so your capacity to save is much higher. तो आप उसको पूरा यूटिलाइज कीजिए. जैसे जैसे आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज बढ़ेंगी, उस तरह से आपके खर्चे बढ़ेंगे एंड योर कैपेसिटी टू सेव विल गो डाउन. तो इनिशियल पार्ट में आप जितना सेव कर सकते हैं, दैट विल बी गुड फॉर यू इन द लेटर ईयर.
Let's take the next question. It's coming from Sarika Karnad. My parents still believe in investing in gold. I feel unsure about that. Sarika, you have taken the question जो मेरी लिस्ट में भी था कि ट्रेडिशनली लोग जो है वो गोल्ड में काफी बिलीव करते हैं, लेकिन हमें कितना इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए. पर वन एडवाइस किरण आई गॉट फ्रॉम समबडी व्हिच इज दैट अगर आप उसको ज्वेलरी फॉर्म में ले रहे हो तो वो उतना शायद रिटर्न नहीं देगा जितना कि अगर आप बिस्किट में या कॉइन में या आप उसमें गोल्ड और सिल्वर में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो. इज दैट करेक्ट?
ओके, सो लेट मी पुट इट दिस वे. आप जो ज्वेलरी फॉर्म में यूज कर रहे हैं, डोंट कंसिडर दैट एज एन इन्वेस्टमेंट, बिकॉज आप कभी नहीं बेचेंगे, राइट. सो दैट इज नॉट एन इन्वेस्टमेंट, दैट इज अ पर्सनल एसेट, सो दैट इज फॉर पर्सनल यूज. तो आपके टोटल नेटवर्थ जो है, आपकी वैल्यू है, उसमें वो काउंट हो जाएगा. बट अगर आप जस्ट इमेजिन ना, आपने कोई ज्वेलरी लिया, आपने कितनी बार ज्वेलरी बेची है टू फुलफिल सम रिक्वायरमेंट, तो वो नहीं होता है. सो आइडियली ज्वेलरी इज पर्सनल यूज, सो दैट इज गॉन. आप इन्वेस्टमेंट की जहां तक बात करते हैं, तो गोल्ड हैज इट्स ओन प्लेस. इट विल नॉट गिव यू अ ग्रेट रिटर्न, बट इट इज यूजुअली कंसिडर्ड अ हेज अगेंस्ट इन्फ्लेशन. तो होता क्या है, जब इक्विटी मार्केट क्रैश हो रहा होता है, सो गोल्ड इज कंसिडर्ड अ सेफर बेट. तो उस टाइम पे गोल्ड इंक्रीज हो सकता है. बट यू कांट हैव अ लार्ज पोर्शन ऑफ योर इन्वेस्टमेंट इन गोल्ड. तो मे बी अगर आप 100 रुपया इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, 5 या 10 रुपया आप गोल्ड में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए. तो अप टू 5 to 10% इज वॉट यू शुड आइडियली look at investing in gold, so that will kind of balance out your portfolio. But if you're looking at 50% gold, then your returns will be impacted in the long run. So you should be a little wary about that. And jo aapko acceptable hai, I mean, there could be people who would be more comfortable with 50% of allocation to gold, but whether that is suitable to you or no, that is what you have to look for.
How do you know it's the correct time to withdraw? Sargisha is asking. Good question.
Very interesting. So you will know what is that correct time to withdraw if you've done investing basis some gold, right? So आपने पहले क्या किया है उस पर डिपेंड करता है. अगर आपने एडहॉक ले लिया है कि चलो दोस्त ले रहे हैं, तो देन दोस्तों से ही पूछिए फिर क्या करना है, राइट. सो वन, व्हेन योर गोल इज देयर, तो आपने गोल के लिए किया है, गोल नजदीक आ गया है, तो यू कैन विड्रॉ. सेकेंड, आपने गोल के लिए इन्वेस्ट किया है, गोल अभी भी शायद 2-3 साल आगे हैं, लेकिन आपके पैसे बन रहे हैं. So then you would want to protect that money, right? Whatever has been created. So then you will move it, if it is say in an equity, which is a volatile asset class, you will move it to debt, which is a non-volatile asset class. और उसमें आप प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं पैसे को कि जब 3 साल बाद जरूरत पड़ेगी, तो then you can still use it. That is one way of looking at it. Second is, see, it is a little difficult to figure out, but depending on where the investment has been made. For example, if it is equity, so if the prospects of that investment are not looking good in the future, for whatever reason, I mean, there is a whole philosophy, and I mean, it's a full day class actually on how and why of this equity investing. उसके basis पे आप decide कर सकते हैं कि maybe I should withdraw and invest elsewhere. So I think this is the basic way of looking at it. So easiest would be to look at goal-based investing. So it also gives you an exit path. It's a very clear exit path.
All right, we have another question, which is what is the right age to start investing? Also, is it right to make money from parents for to take money from parents for investment? Misha.
Misha, any age is a good age to start investing. So, in fact, my daughter, I started investing for her when she was little. I mean, she was less than 10 years old. So parents do that for their children. Uh, so when you start earning, I mean, that is when it's actually your money. So till then, it's your parents' money that is being invested in your name or for you. So as soon as you start earning, I think you should start investing. I don't know why you would take money from your parents to invest, because your parents would invest on their own, in their own name. I mean, so really no sense there. So you should invest your money, they should invest their own.
एंड बट निशा वन थिंग आई कैन टेल यू इज उनको आप ये जरूर बोल सकते हो कि मुझे गिफ्ट में आप इन्वेस्टमेंट्स दे दो. That is a smart thing to do. That when somebody is asking you कि मैं आपको क्या gift करूं, you should always say that, because I remember my father invested in my son's name, when he wanted to give something when he was born, and that portfolio is growing now, and by the time he goes to college it will become something. So I think one of the things that as parents, I think it happens a lot in the south where every year they buy something for the daughters in gold, and I think that's a brilliant idea. तो मैं तो थोड़ा बोलूंगी कि अच्छा ठीक है parents को बोल सकते हो that do some investments for me, but yes, as
Yeah, so
Kiran said.
एग्जैक्टली, सो दैट्स अ गुड आइडिया. सो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स में भी डायरेक्टली नहीं हो सकता, बिकॉज अब वो केवाईसी वगैरह का बहुत चक्कर होता है. सो
Correct.
ओपनिंग अकाउंट इन द चाइल्ड्स नेम एंड ट्रांसफरिंग द मनी टू दैट अकाउंट एंड देन इन्वेस्टमेंट टू बी डन इन द चाइल्ड्स नेम. So that could be one simpler way of doing it.
All right, Kiran, one more question that I had. There are two sides divided on this. Some people say real estate is a better investment, and some people say that doing it in other assets is a better investment where you are doing mutual funds or equity, etc., etc. What's your take on it?
See, I think per se all products are good in the sense that they have their own pros and cons, right? So it has to match with your requirement. आप real estate की बात कर रहे हैं, so real estate is a big ticket item. So when you say want to buy an apartment in Mumbai, maybe 2 crores is a decent amount to get a decent size house in Mumbai. So for 2 crores, you need at least 20 to 30 lakhs, or maybe 40 lakhs of money upfront, and then the balance you will take in a loan, right? And that loan will have an EMI. तो ये सारी चीजें जगह पर हैं या नहीं. Again, whether real estate, whether you're going to use it for living, so then it does not become an investment per se, because आप use कर रहे हैं उस asset को. अगर आप invest कर रहे हैं, आप उसको rent पे देना चाहते हैं, you're getting a rental there. In India, the return on rental in residential units is around 2 to 3%. So that is something that you get in your savings account also. So you choose whether you would want the hassle of investing in a real estate. Maintenance है, आप सारा जो उसका taxes भरेंगे, ये सारी चीजें करने के बाद आपके हाथ में जो पैसा आता है, that will be even less than 2 to 3%. Would you choose that, or would you choose something else which can be done maybe online in a financial asset, and you will not have the hassle of actually physically maintaining the investment? So it depends. So हर एक चीज के pros and cons होते हैं. You cannot obviously have everything in one place. But whether real estate would be your first investment, or you would want to build your wealth in other places first, and then as a diversification build real estate. So those are the choices that you have to.
Kiran, I can't stress enough on the fact that if there are more fund managers, and when you meet, and especially women fund managers, and also it is so important to go to somebody who is an expert in the area, somebody who can guide you, your banking associates, your RMs, etc. You always need to get guided, because there are so many, while there is a gap, you need more women centric investment products, पर जो हैं उनके बारे में भी लोगों को नहीं पता होता है, right? So I think it's so important to have that one person who can guide you properly.
I agree, Mugdha. It's not only about the products, you know. See, as I've been talking so far, it's all about the fitment of that product to your particular situation. तो products तो सारे अच्छे हैं, किसी ने कुछ सोच के ही बनाए होंगे, and there could be different profiles for whom that particular product is more suitable. तो मेरे लिए शायद जो suitable है वो आपके लिए नहीं होगा, and maybe something is that is your requirement will not suit me. तो उस फिटमेंट को जानने के लिए एंड टू अंडरस्टैंड वेदर दैट रिस्क इन दैट प्रोडक्ट इज सूटेबल और यू विल बी कंफर्टेबल टेकिंग दैट रिस्क, हाउ डू यू मैनूवर द चेंजिंग पाथ, यू नो, आपने प्रोडक्ट ले लिया, जैसे यू स्पोक अबाउट योर ओन एक्सपीरियंस वेयर you were not able to read the fine print and you went into a loss. So if there are situations like this, what decision do you make? There are so many people who come to us at, you know, those critical juncture where they have to make that decision. Say for example, a child is going for higher studies, so whether they take a loan or whether they dip into their investment, or when they want to buy a house, whether it is better to buy a house or whether it's better to rent, you know, so those are big decisions where there's a lot of money involved. So at those decisions, you can get a lot of information on the net, but that information will not help you make decisions. You need to talk to somebody and understand how that information is useful to you. तो पढ़ लेंगे आप, सारी चीजें अवेलेबल है इंटरनेट पे, आप सब देख सकते हैं, बट यू कैन नॉट become a doctor just by reading the medical textbook, right? So it's the same thing. तो उस हिसाब से yes, definitely it would help if you go to a professional. You will make lesser mistakes, and lesser mistakes means more wealth, obviously, because you end up losing lesser amounts in mistakes that have happened.
Well, thank you, Kiran. Thank you so much. As always, this was such a pleasure. And I'm absolutely sure that everybody who's tuned in and is watching has gone back with a lot of handy tips. Thank you so much for sparing time for us.
Thanks, Mugdha.